Hi everyone, it is I, CyberKnight-Miky, and this is going to be not only just a review of the Studio Series Buzzword Bumblebee 102 Optimus Prime, but also going to be a comparison with this to this, why this Studio Series 38 is a little bit more on point of accurate to the Rise of the Beast model than this one. And of course, it's going to be a follow-up to these two videos I literally uploaded few days ago. And of course, I know there's a lot of you people that are literally questioning why I even bothered buying this if I'm gonna hate it, and that I'm thinking I'm acting like a man-child, and of course using slander on me for thinking something different, and of course telling people otherwise with I'm being a hypocrite, and of course trying to shame me for having different opinion, like a dystopian future where everyone's having the same opinion. Well, here's the thing. I'm literally buying this because it's my job. I buy it and review it so you don't have to. And of course, it's because there's a lot of things that, in my opinion, that there is really much flaws on this figure that many just ignores and try to be blinded that this figure is the perfect Optimus Prime, even though there's a lot of things that you don't know. And of course, second of all, there's nothing wrong for having different opinions. A lot of people can like or dislike. It's subjective opinion. Everyone is allowed to have different opinions, even though they don't agree. You can still respect them. So, and of course, don't try to harass people for differently. If you think my opinion is wrong, that is on you. But don't go and harass me for, and also using slander against me. It's not cool. And of course, I don't go and collect just sexy anime figures, since I actually collect more than just, anime figures. If you're actually new here, it kind of explains the comments, which a lot of the comment section who says that I'm literally being a man child, need to grow up. Well, I can't grow up because it's not my problem that I literally have diagnosed with autism or Asperger, and that most of you people literally have that kind of Batman. One of you literally dressing up like Batman, and one of them is being from the Batman from this Flash, that terrible movie that bombed. But also that I collect more than just the anime figures. Most of them is being like, kaiju figures like Godzilla, awesome action figures like Doomslayer, and even other Transformers figures that either transforms or does not. It's just how I want to buy it. It's my opinion and of course my choice on what I want to buy. It is not just that. So don't try to demand me for buying something, and of course trying to hate me for trying to criticize, because criticism is allowed. Because buying these figures is like going to a restaurant. If you're going to a restaurant, you want a kind of a food that you want to eat, but if that food doesn't satisfy you, you are allowed to criticize it for being either not bad or not what you expected. So don't try to act up like a goddamn one of those chefs that's trying to harass people for having different opinions, and of course for criticizing. That's being pretty toxic. So honestly, shame on you for trying to do that. And no joke, a lot of these things some of them are literally anime girls, but a lot of them are also being actually badass action figures, and of course kaiju figures like SH Monsters and Haya, even dinosaur figures, Gunpla, other Transformers stuff, and even Transformers figures that is either official or third party, and of course Gundam, and of course Evangelion, and even my shelf over here. So letting you all know that I'm not hating you as a person unless you're one of those assholes who thinks otherwise, because I don't even know you as a person. I don't even know what the hell you are behind. And also, if you're trying to harass people, well, that's a bit sad. Because I'm literally doing this for a hobby. And of course, trying to do this because it's actually quite fun. So, honestly, if you're one of those kind of people who try to shame others for having different opinion, go out and touch some grass and actually get an actual job instead of just wasting your time on the internet and, well, texting others on the comment section. But that's on me. And for some people that what my response over this one is maybe a little bit too harsh, but still I'm still holding my words, and I still stand that this figure is quite overrated and of course quite inaccurate. Because the overall CGI design for Rise of the Beast is literally like the Bumblebee Optimus Prime, except that this one is mostly grey. The legs are quite similar, but also thicker. And of course the smokestacks, which this one is more of the, concept design, if anything, than the actual CGI model. And of course they have looking like the, a combination of the concept of Bumblebee Optimus Prime and of course MPN-12, but not as pretty. Now, of course, the overall opinion of the sculpting of this guy is pretty good. However, still, it is mostly inaccurate since it's just a combination and a hybrid of the CGI, the concept of the Optimus Prime from Rise of the Beast, and literally trying to be just like the Studio Series 38 and and having elements of MPN-12. And of course, that here's also a thing that I feel just like the way that perspective and feels like with the Siege and Earthrise Optimus Prime. I see this as the Siege Optimus Prime, and this as Earth. I mostly see this as Siege Optimus Prime, while this one being like the Earthrise Optimus Prime, because they kind of functions just like these figures, that one of them is mostly Ghibli, however that is its nature and it looks ordinary and actually has element of Earthrise that works well. This one is trying to copying what the Studio Series 38 did, however it kind of fumbles the bag and almost feels like a mixed bag. And of course half-baked. I mean, most of the time the proportions looks somewhat on point, however the head is really small, and I do mean way small. When you take a look at these heads side by side, you can see that this head is really smaller than the Bumblebee for Optimus Prime here. It's really unfortunate. And here's also a thing that this piece here is honestly on the wrong area. This is supposed to be on this side and this smokestack is supposed to be there. And of course why I'm saying this is because they could have used this panel to be a ball joint where it rests here, and when it transformed into alt mode, this area could have been, literally angled so that it will literally face there, since that piece is a fake part. But however, the overall truck mode from that they are using is quite big, and this one is way smaller. So honestly, they could have used some ingenuity to have a ball joint section here, where it literally is a ball joint here, where it's rotated here, but when it transforms, you could have rotated so it literally faces on the side of the truck mode. It wouldn't have been hard. And of course, you could have figured out the way, since this piece is almost non-existent on the Rise of the Beast, since you could have literally used a cut here to have this shoulder piece angled, because honestly, you could have sacrificed so many things and yet still have posability instead of just looking, quite off, because when this piece is there, it just looks unordinary and kind of not as pretty. And of course we have these side panels, which honestly is quite natural here, since those are in line. But here it jets out way too far, and honestly, if you literally angled it all the way back, it could have been, well proportionate and actually, well, a little bit better. And of course, let's not also forget about the details about the arms, since those are quite different, and honestly, this is not how it looked in the film. And before you say about the feature about the sword, well, you already have a port here that you are literally using. So, does anyone really use this feature where it's tapped into this arm? It kind of feels, well, to be honest, kind of wasteful feature. And of course, there's also the kick on the over here, which of course there's the sliding rail where it kind of features similar as the Yellow Park Optimus Prime or any kind of gunpla where it shifts forward to get more range. That is good, however, they kind of misses the bad since it's just a solid piece, and there could have been more potential to have this not only face back way forward, but also have this piece to face backwards, since that could have given more range of motion. However, when it's literally like so, it also looks kind of unordinary and literally unnatural in some way. So there's that. And of course they also kind of uses blue plastic instead of just gray, because when it's just blue plastic, it kind of looks, well, quite off. Even inside of this torso is literally, and of course this cross piece here, which is not how it looks in the film. I know that a lot of people say it's looking a little bit better than the actual CGI model, but still, when it's literally studio series and is trying to be as accurate in the film than the mainline, because mainline can be acceptable for being different and having the concept art design, but here it is not only kind of off-putting, but also not as pretty. And of course it's being, well, blue plastic, so you can also see some, well, they are not finished with the painting, so it kind of looks really off. And it could have been avoided if they actually used gray plastic. You can literally use this piece, however, just using blue plastic will not do it. And of course, since this is pieces are thin, it can also have the risk of breakage if you squeeze these pieces too far, since it also has a quite unsatisfying folding feature for the wheels, since if you fold it too far, you might have the risk of breakage. And of course, these gas tanks, when you transform it into alt mode, you will have the way of, well, it just rests there, but there's no tabbing feature like the other one, because for this one, it's quite clever. When you transform it, there's not only a slot here, but also a tab inside the gas tank. When you transform it, it rests there, and there's also a piece here that locks into place. That's smart. And when you're transforming it, not only would you have it facing outward to rest there, but you also have this piece that literally locks into place, and of course this one will not fumble away when you literally have it in alt mode. And that is quite clever. And of course, that is also quite a nice ingenuity. However, this one, it does not even have that, and just like the Earthrise, it just feels unfinished. It just feels lazy, and the whole feature will fumble, since if you pick it up and actually move here, it feels kind of annoying, especially when I have literally autism Asperger, and it kind of feels, well, a little bit unsettling, especially when you have these skirt pieces that are accurate, however, they also aren't tabbed, so when you try to pose this around, you might, pop this off. And especially when it's shelf dive and these pieces pop off, you will lose them as well. I'm not saying this just to be mean to this, I'm just being concerned for those who actually have this and almost lose it as well. And of course how they actually painted this, but not this area, since this looks very incomplete. It just feels lazy. And of course, speaking of which, that also feels lazy is the weapons. Since I have the same feeling with this sword, which, don't get me wrong, is quite nice and actually is very nicely painted. But why even bothering having blue plastic and not just regular gray plastic? That would have been, well, matching well, but of course it sticks out like a sore thumb, especially when it will ship over time or fade, since I just cut it just to see, while the mid one that is having blue here, if you see here, I did cut a little bit there, but which it is on me. However, the one I literally cut here, look beside, those I didn't cut. Those were like this when before I cut this middle area. So not only does it already got cut, was it painted, but it already got cut when I got this. And of course you also have the tab, which is you can tap it here, but it feels useless. So it's mostly supposed to be fitted on this arm, which does look neat. However, what is quite not nice is of course the cannon, which honestly I do not even give a damn, since it is literally Dropkick's gun, but literally used on Optimus Prime, which and also is a downgrade to the Iron Blaster. And of course he doesn't really use that much in the film, so who really cares? Which of course you can just do this feature where you literally tap it on this arm. It's nice and all, but here's also why I have a question to the Hasbro team is, if you really want this feature and be on point to the film, why not just do it like well, the Rise of the Beast Scourge figure, where you can literally remove this arm to this arm cannon as a gimmick. You already had it with Scourge, so why not have this? Literally, why not have this in leader class budget to have the opportunity to have an accurate arm in the first place? And before you say about the upgrade kit, yes, I know about the upgrade kit that fixes the problem, but it should have been sold in the first place. An upgrade kit doesn't make a bad figure good. It only makes a good figure better. However, when this figure is, honestly, if just being, well, alright, it kind of feels unnecessary to pay like $50 just to get the stuff you wanted. Especially when also one accessory is missing, since that axe that it's supposed to have is literally locked behind a paywall on the Optimus Prime Leader class, which honestly, screw yourself, Hasbro, for doing this kind of stuff. And while I also think that the articulation for the head is very nice, and of course the ball jointed feet is nice, and of course the pivot is very well, the rest is kind of not as impressive, since while he do have a nice kick, the back is not that well, and while it does seem like a regular, well, over 90 degrees, it feels just like a 90-degree bend, which is seriously a downgrade to the Studio Series, which bends even further. And honestly, I would have been fine if they actually reused this Optimus Prime, but tweaked the legs here to make the overall figure just like in the film. There was no need to literally do this. This one literally has some ingenuity like this Optimus Prime, which is when it comes to the overall truck mode. And of course I forgot about the arms, but it's just hot rod shoulders, which is pretty, honestly, you could have just had sacrificed a gap here, and you could have a joint here and a joint inside, and it would have moved, have more articulation, since he can only move out this much, but cannot move out here. It just locks into place. There's no free will. And of course, while he has a double jointed elbow, it just focuses more like an over 90 degrees and at the maximum bend. And of course, you have also wrist swivel and waist, and of course the non-official ab crunch, which people think it's official. However, it kind of looks like a Mortal Kombat fatality. And while the overall transformation for this truck mode is kind of a complex and of course a little bit tricky here, since sometimes it feels a little bit unsatisfying when you try to click into place, since you don't get much room of freedom to literally, well, have this satisfying kind of connection, since it kind of fumbles around. I mean, it's a neat conversion on all and that sort of stuff. However, when it comes to legs, it just, well, open these panels, gas tanks here, then just fold up the leg for some reason to... Wait, hold on. Optimus Prime didn't have this kind of panels on the back end. Yeah. So while the front looks pretty neat, the overall truck mode itself, and I will, and everyone can agree with this, that it is quite half-baked. I hope everyone agree with me with this one. If not, no boy. So yeah, the truck mode is pretty much half-baked, since when we compare it to this one, which this truck mode, which is the Studio Series 48, and of course, since it's painted, it's kind of doesn't really is a nice comparison. But however, it is not a comparison of which truck mode is more accurate. It's more like which one did it better. And my point is that this one does have this kind of folding feature that this one copied. However, this one makes sense since these kind of plates here is quite accurate to the overall truck mode that, while not appeared in Bumblebee, it did appear in Age of Extinction when Optimus Prime was hiding. So, and since that truck mode has that kind of backplate, it is quite clever and well engineered. And it even did have a trailer hitch, and of course didn't compromise too much, since that is its nature. This one, however, did not have any plates at back. It was just, well, red back on the truck. And of course there is also the, as I stated before, that the smokestack should have been placed here, and this plate here could have hinged inward, since this piece here is, well, if you looked at besides the photos of the truck they used in the film, it is way small here. And why even have a fake part here when you can have the real one there, literally have a ball joint and then just shift it so that it would cover up, since that would actually make a lot of sense. Sure, there's a lot of compromises, but it would have also made the truck mode and of course the transformation a little bit more interesting, since a lot of it is just, well, shifting and clashing all over the place. And that these legs could have found a way to literally convert, well, the whole inner leg area. And of course this piece here, well, the feet sticking out, is quite accurate to, well, it did stick out in the film. However, it could have also hired up a little bit, hired up a level to literally make the whole truck bed, well, more cohesive, since right now they just fumbled the bag and kind of took an inspiration, or literally borrowed and copied something that was that worked from one figure, but kind of failed, since that one is not very accurate to how he appeared in the film. And I know that Hasbro stated that they kind of copied the wheels and the glass here, but everything is quite 100% new. Well, I would say 100% the new mold, but the sculpting is, I mean, it is quite minute, since they pretty much borrowed some same engineering, well, not the same pieces, but the engineering is quite synced with this one. Both of them functions almost the same thing. However, this one kind of fails. And of course, if you see in here, where the truck bed, well, I'll transform it here. And of course, make sure it's clear and all that sort of stuff. But when you look inside, this kind of piece since it kind of bothers here, since this one used a shifting motion, well, a piece here to shift this whole piece, and then they literally just pinned it into place, so they just hold the glass there for the whole the front of the truck. However, because it's clear plastic, these pieces will show up like a sore thumb, and it kind of looks distracting in some way. So there's that, my overall criticism of this figure. But I know that the Hasbro trying their best to do this Optimus Prime. However, overall, this should have been a leader class. They should have take this figure back to the drawing board and kind of think a little bit through before doing this final product, because this whole figure, while I know that everyone do love it, which is great for you, keep loving it if you love it. However, it is still, I still stand with my opinion that this one is very inaccurate and quite overrated, since a lot of these things should have literally, I mean, this had potential to be, well, quite an upgrade to this. However, they still fumbled the bag. And with considering Hasbro literally just firing a lot of people, since, well, guess what? These figures don't sell very well, since all they did is just, well, literally pissed off their target audience, which, with the help of you guys, since, well, you people really are trying to be toxic with others for having different opinions. So, yeah, great job from literally pissing off a lot of people and new generation stickheads. But also that this is quite a reminder of quite a disappointment. Well, I wouldn't say, do I really still think it's quite overrated? Yes. Is this worse? Is this the worst figure overall? Not really. It is, in some way, really a cool and fine figure for what it's trying to be. However, what it's trying to be is the Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime, and that is the Studio Series toy line, where they are trying to do 100%, trying to be more movie accurate and all that sort of stuff. However, since these figures, these Rise of the Beast Studio Series, were pretty much postponed, since they were shifted from 2022 to 2023. Well, the film was supposed to be released in 2022, but shifted to next year. So a lot of these figures suffered a lot. And this is the reason why me, as a reviewer, and everyone else are allowed to pretty much criticize, not to hate, not just the toy, but to literally tell them to improve these things that doesn't work. Because if you are trying to kick away all these people, trying to, well, as you all call, hate, it's more of hating something that is shit. If you're keeping the shit, then the whole brand, the Hasbro brand, will go bankrupt. And all the things that, something that is beloved, will soon to fade. And this is the reason why I think this really fails as trying to be a product of that Optimus Prime from Rise of the Beast, since you could have just bumped up this figure to lead a price point, work things out, literally engineer properly and don't rush things, and literally release it when that time comes. Because if you're just being literally being enslaved by Hasbro, well, executives that literally don't see anything that is valuable, since they didn't even care about the characters from the Transformers characters and just see them as product, since they literally did kill off characters back in 1986, it proves that they never learn from the past. And this is also the reason why I, as a fan, not a fanboy that just love everything, but as a fan, as a collective individual that want to love and of course want to promote good products. However, what I see here is just laziness and half-baked product that's just only one thing, doing two things that is good at. Pretty much blinding people to think it's good, and greed. Since now it's literally hard to find in the aftermarket, since scalpers literally, well, in some way or another, just bump up the price, and now it's literally hard for people. But honestly, that's kind of good, since this product should have been, well, going back to the drawing board in the first place. And of course, secondly, it's in the Buzzworthy Bumpy toy line, so that's also an exclusive after all as well. So that's also kind of a bummer. But it is also the biggest but as well. But as someone that is literally a fan of Transformers, and of course know about Hasbro's production, it will not happen that they are gonna try to retool this into a later price point in the future, or just trying to listen to fans' criticism, because this is the harsh reality that this is the how it is now. I don't think there's gonna be a 2.0, since right now Hasbro thinks otherwise, and now that this one is hard to find, the only option that I can literally recommend is get the Bayway 102 Optimus Prime, because at least that one is trying to give you more optional, weapons, and of course some ingenuity they're trying to do. But overall, would I recommend this figure? Only if you're a completionist and if you have a different opinion. But overall, I don't think it's, you just give it a pass. This figure is not really worth it. Well, I don't think it's the worst. It is very figure that is quite disappointment. And honestly, if this kind of things that drawing to people, because Hasbro has no kind of creativity, and that they are continuing with this kind of path, and that they're also convening people to harass others. If they're actually trying to do that and trying to keep everything, then this is also the reason why it might also be a thing that makes me literally, in some way or another, stop collecting official products from Hasbro ever again. Because I want to keep supporting good products. However, if they keep continuing this path, it will be a hard, and I do mean a hard future for next generation, because we want to bring down the torch for next generation, because that's literally what keeps these lines alive. But if you are conveying to just hating others for having different opinions and just literally trying to harass them, then you're just pushing that generation away. And this is something that I'm not just being mad, but also concerned, because a lot of people are just trying to ignore these flaws. But this is also kind of the thing as well, that these things are not just here to be collected for man-children, but to kids as well, because this is a product for kids. You should not just be toys only to be collected for man-children or just collectors as well, but kids also love playing toys, and they also want something that is fun to play with. However, if we just continue on just having figures that can be easily broken, or just being way, way, way boring, or just lame, or just doesn't satisfy them, then Hasbro in general will stop making more products. And honestly, if they are actually will not learn, then what's even the point? And if you're actually doing these kind of things, whether you're trying to harass people for having different opinions and all that sort of stuff, then you're not only being an asshole, but also viewing the whole Transformer community as a bunch of toxic people. And honestly, that's really not good at all. And this is kind of a reminder of what I feel like about this Optimus Prime, because honestly, if I had one recommendation for a Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime, get the main line. Because while that one is not quite accurate as well, at least it is a fun product. This one, well, yes, it might almost look a little bit cooler. This one still is just an incomplete product as well. Or just keep this figure, because that one still surpass as something that almost, well, in robot mode looks like an awesome Optimus Prime, but also it's fun to play, fun to transform, and also almost looks like a combination of Bumblebee, Optimus Prime, and Rise of the Beast, since that one still has designs that still brings nostalgia. This one just looks like Optimus Prime, but doesn't feel like him. I know I kind of sound like I'm rambling on, but I cannot help it. I'm doing these reviews not to just convey or letting people buy new products, but also that I, as a person, even though I'm diagnosed with autism and Asperger, I still need to also do reviews, to also criticize, because that's also my job. I don't see everything as perfect. Not everything is perfect, and you need to mention those imperfections, because not everything is sunshine and roses. And you should not be afraid to criticize something that you love or hate. Because that's what makes us human. Because we all are different. We like what we like and don't like what we don't like. We like bad things. We hate good things. And vice versa. So, in general, if you want to love it, I mean, keep going. More power to you. But I'm still letting you all know that this product is not as impressive as all of you make it to seem. Because this one, while may look cool, it has a lot of potential to be better. If it was a little price point, I'm sure this would be even more impressive. Anyway, that's all I had to say about this unedited video, because I'm not gonna spend too much time literally just editing videos all the time, since I also have a daily lives. But yeah, and also sorry that I'm literally making this video way too long as it is, but it's something that needs to be informed. And this is kind of who I kind of am. I like making something that is long. If I make it too short, then I'll be stressed. I just want to take my time with these things. And of course, one thing as well, to close this video up, don't go try to harass people. Sure, even me, I need to learn to not also kind of trying to comment as well, because I'm still, even though I'm trying to, well, defend myself as well, but still, if you don't like my opinion, that's great. Just don't try to shame me or harass me as well, because we all are people, but don't go harass people for thinking differently. It's not cool. You're just making things worse. And if you like something that you really like, well, I'm gonna respect your opinion, even though if I don't agree with you. However, well, no, that's all I had to say. Anyway, before I ramble too much on, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, if you agree with me, that's nice. If you don't, well, I'm thankful that you watched this video. Make sure that you leave a like, comment down what you think, and of course subscribe as well if you want to support this channel even further. And as for my other videos that I'm literally working on, well, they're on their way. It's just that I really need to take my time, and that I just want to make this video just to see how many people think about this figure. Which, comment down below what you really think of this figure. And honestly, and because this channel is all about honesty. So don't be afraid if you don't like it or not. You're allowed to have different opinions. So there's that. And of course, I also have other social media that you can also follow me there. And of course, I have a Patreon. It's only $1. Same with membership, but it's only $1. And you also can see some videos, not that editing too much, but also something that is only exclusive to that. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, only time will tell what I'm about to review next. Until then, have a great day, and roll out.